I'm Tom Sekas for a segment called In-Fisherman in the Field, where we'll talk about fishing hotspots around the country and so much more. I'm in the studio with In-Fisherman Field editor Matt Straw. Matt, what's been going on in the field?
Well, lately I have been swim jigging a lot for largemouths. We have a lot of lakes around here, so I've been going to a lot of different lakes and just swim jigging for largemouths. And a swim jig is a very versatile thing. It's a silicone leg jig, very similar to the jigs that we've have been flipping and pitching with for years, that we generally are used as a drop jig. In other words, you just want it to drop, fall, hit bottom, then you hop it along bottom, reel it up, and start over again. But a swim jig, you are retrieving it all the way back to the boat, and I look at it more as a spinnerbait without a blade. That's the way I look at it. It's very versatile. You can fish it fast, you can fish it slow, you can fish it high, you can fish it low, you can fish it through the middle of the water, you can fish it in weeds and cover, you can fish it in open water, right out in the middle of nowhere. You can fish it way off bottom or close to bottom. So it's a very versatile tool, and I'm finding that almost every day I can catch bass with it. And that's not true anymore of spinnerbaits, especially on highly pressured lakes. Those blades, unless you paint them and cover them up, that flash is turning fish off more often than it's turning them on for me in these lakes around here that are where you have a lot of pressured fish, and people are seeing, the fish are seeing a lot of different baits. So what I've been doing lately is putting different colors of grubs on the see, this is a swimming technique. You're moving it through the water. So you put a grub on the back, an action tail grub, an auger tail grub, like a Kalin's. Quite often use Kalin's grubs, or I'll use Berkeley power grubs, anybody's grub, trying to find colors, sizes, and different ways to trigger the fish. But I think that the most important thing about a swim jig is that you are, again, trying to pattern the fish by finding out what speed are they reacting to and what kind of action are they reacting to. Because when you're retrieving a swim jig, just like a really good fisherman, when he retrieves a Kevin Van Dam, when he retrieves a spinnerbait, he doesn't just steadily retrieve it most of the time. He might burn it in really fast, but a lot of times he's adding a little twitch or a pump of the rod. He'll pump the rod at some point. And what that does is make that skirt take on different attitudes at every point during the retrieve. As the speed changes, so does the attitude of that skirt. Sometimes it puffs out when it stops, and the blades start to flutter as it falls, and it looks like a dying bait fish. And then it contracts again when it speeds up, so that skirt is moving and it's living and breathing. Well, you can do that with a swim jig too. And the one that I've been working with that's been working the best for me lately has been that Lunker City panhead. It's just a round, kind of a lozenge-shaped head that is flat on the bottom, and it really stays up really well for its weight. And I've been using the 3/8 ounce size a lot, and lately I've been noticing the fish, the bass, in all these lakes around here, whether the water is stained, brown, or clear, they've been demanding that I use green, all green, green pumpkin or watermelon green. Last year I was using a lot of white grubs and clear grubs with a lot of metal flake, anything that looked like a minnow. That was my favorite addition. So that's been very popular, and I'm sure it's going to work very well again. But right now, just recently, it's been all green, an all green package. And this is just I think it's one of those consistent things that you can always catch fish with. You can burn it across the tops of weeds. You can work it along the bottom, right near a weed line, by just swimming it just fast enough so that it just touches bottom every 3, 4, 5 feet. You can swim it, you can let it fall to bottom and retrieve it so that it's angling back to the boat constantly, or you can try to swim it horizontally through the middle of the water column out in the middle of nowhere. It's one of those techniques, though, that consistently produces fish for me every day on every kind of water that I've been on for the last 4 or 5 years.
That was Matt Straw. I'm Tom Sekas, and that's In-Fisherman in the Field for today.